Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is March 4th, 2020, and today is Friday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, Russia strikes a nuclear plant in Ukraine, and the markets react quite violently. Looking at the major economic events of the day, we have at 3:30 South African time out of the United States, non-farm payroll numbers coming out. Now, this may be overshadowed by today's current events. But first, looking at the Forex symbols, the euro tanks as a result, and the Australian dollar continues to rally. Now, looking at the indices across the board, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, the DAX, the NIKKEI, they all tanked today. And looking at commodities, gold and oil both spike as a result of it. Looking at the stocks yesterday, the tech stocks traded the markets lower, including JP Morgan as well. And cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin gives up its gain and retraces to support. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go with the Euro USD at a daily chart. You can see it down here. And look at this tankage. 110.97, 110 flat, almost down 150 pips from our support level. And that is a decent retracement there. Now looking at a weekly, that's what we got to look for our next support level. Really, next support level is 109.47. So we're only about 50 to 60 pips away from that. Altogether, not a big deal, but we could still get there. And look at the volume. The volume is increasing. This is very important to pay attention to. This is increasing, this is decreasing, and that's exactly a recipe for further selling on the downside. So just be aware that as this is free falling. Look at the GBP USD, it did tank, but not as violently as the euro. Obviously, it did take a bit of a hit and it is on support level, but didn't break further like the euro did. Now looking at the Australian dollar, look at that, 73.50, doesn't give it up, continues to break out higher. And to look at a daily chart, that's how far we haven't been in this area for quite some time, since November of 2021. So that's over 4 to 5 months ago. We still have some way to go up on the upside to 75. Now looking at commodities, first looking at gold. Gold trading at 1937. If we look at a 4-hour chart, look at that. Look at that spike this morning. We had the spike to the upside and then a retracement, but still very strong and on its upside and still trending higher. Now looking at crude oil, also got a little bit of a spike here at 109.74, high of 116. We haven't seen these numbers in a very, very long time. So just be aware of it. The markets are still very volatile to what is happening in the Ukraine as news continues to unfold there. Now looking at the Dow Jones, we tanked from 33,843 down to 33,300-ish level. As you can see here, we hit 256 even, and now bouncing off of it. So it's a fade opportunity, okay? You're at the top of the range. Now this non-farm payroll will take this into account as well. So it's going to be a little bit of a pull and chug. What's going to really be the news factor that's going to move the markets too much? Okay, that's really very important to understand. Now looking at the individual stocks, looking at Apple, we sold off yesterday. Looking at Facebook, we still sold off here. Looking at Microsoft, we sold off from 300 to 295. Amazon dips below 3,000. That's an important round number for Amazon. So the markets are turning downwards as the markets are continuing to trade. Tesla also traded down yesterday quite exclusively from 884 down to 837. That's a $50 move. And looking at JP Morgan, also trading further down. So markets are still, they've got two things going on, okay? Russia is one thing that's going on, and the fact the economy is hitting a very, very big snag, both of an inflation side, both of, stagflation in terms of the situation, in terms of the market recovery is maybe going to take a little bit longer than expected. So at a certain point, the optimism in the market is going to be factored in, and you're going to see some severe selling, okay? Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, retracing down to its support at 40,000. We're just above it, 41,000. Remember, this is a support which we had a hard time breaking higher from before. Now we're having a hard time maintaining this area, okay? So if it does break it once again, we could see ourselves going back to 37,500. Okay, that would be the next stop on the downside. But I would look for somewhat of a bounce here. Let's see if we do get it later today. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day and a beautiful weekend. Thank you.